All right, so this one we actually covered in an update. It was either last week or the week before, but the BTK killer, Dennis Rader, okay? And you had brought up the fact that there is 2 missing women cases that the sheriff in Oklahoma is
Cold
looking...
cases,
yes,
yeah.
cold cases that the sheriff is looking into it being possibly BTK. There might be some connection there. Apparently they went missing. If you guys are interested in listening to those details, it's this story here, but I just have a follow-up with that. Now, we were trying to figure out, like, what connected him to that, right? So we know that the sheriff was sitting there and then realized, like, oh, shoot, I can't believe I never thought of this before. That was the time that BTK was in this area, this, that, and the other. Well, a new article just came out that talks about Dennis Rader, or BTK, had a notebook where he focused on all his darkest desires, wrote journal entries, drew pictures, planning murders, all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And when he was picked up, police got a hold of this journal, and there is pictures in there with detailed planning around abducting a woman from a laundromat, and he actually called it a bad laundry day, right? Bad wash day. I'm sorry, bad wash day. He titled that picture, and I'm not going to put it up here because it looks like an underage girl, but you guys can go check it out. But it looks like an underage girl tied up, and that's essentially what happened with one of these missing women, is they went missing from a laundromat during the time that BTK was in Oklahoma, and so I just thought that was super interesting, and like for you guys, I'm sure we've said it a million times before, in murder, there's not a lot of coincidences, okay? This is a massive coincidence, if it was a coincidence, but I don't really believe it was a coincidence, because you not only have the picture, you not only have the girl that looks similar to this, but you also have him there during that time.
Yeah, he was there during that time, the right opening in the day that he would go abduct people like this, because he had a specific time he did it.
Yep.
So, and they fit his MO. So
yeah, and one of them was last wearing a green dress, which is super interesting. So even though they're calling this in this article, this was him planning it, it actually sounds like it's reverse. This is probably him reliving it, because there's no way that you would draw a picture of a girl, a lookalike, in a green dress, and then all of a sudden she's just wearing that green dress randomly. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I just feel like that can't be a coincidence either, but it definitely makes more sense for it to have been after, because that's a weird thing to predict. Like, unless he had this vision in his head and then the first woman he saw wearing a green dress was getting it.
Yeah, but the hair color matches, the general size, and when you're comparing the picture's drawing to her being shorter stature, bright blonde hair, I mean, like, super as blonde can be, and this picture looks the same. Like, there's too many details here. When you were sharing that the other week, part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because I was listening to you and I was like, we were talking about, is he just saying this because he wants attention, because all of a sudden you have Portland popping up, you have Gilgo popping up, and he's the last major serial killer.
He hasn't admitted to it.
I know he hasn't admitted to it, but he started having his daughter speak about it or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his daughter speak for him. She doesn't speak for him.
No. I know that she doesn't speak for him, but she came out and started talking about that connection and him being self-centered and wanting all the attention and all the limelight on him. So while she's not directly like helping him push this narrative, for a serial killer, all media is good media, right? Because everyone's going to hate him, and they already know that, and they love it. They eat it up.
The sheriff, it's actually the sheriff that's pushing this forward, because he watched that documentary and made the connections in his head, and he had looked at this cold case, one of them, before, and like years prior, and was sitting on his couch, like eating popcorn, watching a documentary about BTK, and was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I think that cold case is him.
Yeah.
And his daughter BTK's daughter did come out and talk a little bit about it, because he wrote letters when Koberger first happened and Gilgo, and was talking about how, like, they were trying to copy him and all kinds of stupid stuff. But they actually did a full interview with him about these cold cases, and talked through his whole life story, but he never admitted to it.
I understand that.
He just wanted the attention from it, but he didn't want to tell them, yes, I did this or not.
He's never getting out, okay?
He probably wants the investigation.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. A couple people left comments saying, well, he hasn't admitted to it. With someone that's going to be in jail for the rest of their life, there's no reason why they wouldn't come out and say it. That's not true.
For a narcissist, there is.
The only thing he has left in his life is mental gymnastics and games, you guys. He is going to draw this out as long as he can. Now that I've seen these drawings and the connection and why they believe that he was tied to these people with everything here, I'm convinced that they were his victims. And I don't care if he admits it or not. If he doesn't admit it, then that investigation is going to continue. There's still going to be reports coming out just like this one we're reading here. That's going to keep. That's what I'm getting at. That's going to make him relevant. That's literally what I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes him relevant again. He gets to relive his crimes through watching the cops slowly dig up every detail and put it in the media.
Right.
This is exactly what he wants. He's a narcissist. He's a sociopath. Like, he gets off on that stuff. He's all in his head. It's all mental. This is like fantasy.
Like every serial killer. Yep. It's a game.
He's reliving his crimes as the police are digging through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But curious what you guys think. I thought it was super interesting. And, last week when we covered it, I was super intrigued by it. And then seeing this, I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely, 100%. These have to be his victims, regardless what the man says. You can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. He has nothing left to lose except his games, But let us know what you think.